When you're using Excel on your computer, there are some default options that you may want to change. At least I find that I do. This is going to be true for other Microsoft products as well. So what I'm showing you in Excel, there are probably similar features in Microsoft Word and PowerPoint as well. Let's begin by going in the program. So I'm in Excel and I'm going to click on File and I'm going to come down to Option. And now what I want to do is I want to go along the left-hand menu item and take a look at some options that I have. In general, I changed this to when creating a new workbook, I only want one sheet in there. By default, there are three, and typically that means there are two unused ones just cluttering the space. So I dropped my number down to 1. If you don't want your username or you want your username listed as something different, you can change it right here. Clicking on the Formulas tab, there are no changes that I make on this one, but you may take a look to see if there are some that are meaningful to you that you want to edit and update. For proofing, again, there's no changes that I make on this. I use the defaults, but there may be some that you find that are worth changing. For save, I do make some changes here. So I dropped my save auto recovery down to 5 minutes. So that means if my laptop dies all of a sudden, maybe the battery ran out, or if I'm using a desktop and somebody trips over the plug and it comes unplugged and my computer shuts down all of a sudden, whatever happens, if my my computer freezes and I've got to restart, instead of losing everything, at most I lost just 5 minutes of work. Now you have to be careful because if you drop it too low, it's going to be auto-saving very often, and that may make your Excel program seem rather sluggish. So I find that 5 is a comfortable medium in there. When you're saving a default file location, mine is set to documents, but you might find that doing the automatic file saving to the desktop is more relevant for you, or to a different file location. So I always check this as well. Then I come down to, let's see. Okay, that's all the changes I make on this one. I don't make any changes on language. Advanced, here I find that after pressing the enter key, I do prefer for it to go down, but there are times if I know I'm going to be working in a workbook doing data entry and I want it to go across, then I will go into the options and I will change this just for that time period, and then I may move it back to down. So if however you want your cursor to move when hitting the enter key, you can make it happen right here. Do you want it to automatically insert 2 decimal places? If you're an accountant, that may be very valuable. For me, I don't need that. Let me come on down and let's see other changes that I make. This one right here, show the number of recent workbooks. 50 is the maximum, and I have bumped it up to the maximum, which means I can go back at any time when I go to File, Open. It'll show me the previous 50 workbooks, that I've worked on. So it makes it much easier if I maybe worked on something 2 or 3 weeks ago. I don't have to go and dig in the folders to find it. I can most likely find it in my most recents when I go File, Open. And then also if you need to do unpin recent folders, that's helpful. See, scrolling on down, I don't believe I make any other changes there. Let's see. There's one on undo, and I do not see it on this screen. Okay. Of course, I've done a video on customizing the ribbon and quick access toolbar, so we won't go into those, though those are very handy. So once I've set those as my defaults, I just click on OK. And now anytime I use Excel on this computer, those defaults will take place. If I happen to share a computer or use Excel with on different, maybe a laptop here, a desktop or a laptop at home, then I want to make sure that I make those default changes on each computer that I'm working on. And that's all there is to it, to updating and changing your default settings in Excel.